old booth is really just saying, don't look at my penis.
It's always best to begin at the beginning, so our first destination seemed fairly obvious when we had decided to go downtown to the Cobalt to speak with Wendy 13 about how the music scene has changed over the years.
Well, really, it doesn't differ. It's just the clothes are different and the music's a bit different. You know, like the punk and the metal's still there, but it's not as popular because what the up-and-comers are thinking that's popular is different from generation to generation. So, like, for instance, I have kids that are 22 and 16, and they listen to that, like, hip-hop-y, ooh, crap, right?
Yeah, the hip-hop scene's funny here because you got a lot of people in this city who are into hip-hop, but the underground scene isn't necessarily prosperous here because people want name recognition. So, you know, it's a tough thing to bring people out in this city, but sometimes they do come out. Basically, you know, if Jay-Z's coming to town or if Wu-Tang's coming to town, the place is going to be filled up, but a lot of people won't go to a show with rappers they don't recognize, and there's a lot of rappers struggling in this city. The live music scene isn't what it once was. I know that from talking to people who used to be around 10, 20 years ago. You know, a lot because of pop culture nowadays and because of MTV and because of sit in your computer and download whatever you want, you know? People are less willing to go out and spend that $5-10 for cover charge and go to see live music here. But I think it's a challenge to be overcome, not something to complain about.
I got out here 15 years ago, and in the 15 years that I've been out here, I've seen it go through pretty much a 5-year cycle. It's like every 5 years you go out to like hardcore shows and whatnot, and the people that were there 5 years ago aren't going anymore because they're getting married, they're having kids, they got the job, and they don't have the time anymore. So it's a new bunch of kids that are coming in, and then it kind of takes on another spin, and new things become fun, popular things to do. Interesting.
Now that we have the internet and email, with time a lot of the scene is on computer now, on MySpace. You can record albums with people on different continents, and you can actually form a band and send pictures to one another via computer, so that changed the music scene a great deal.
I am Nardwar the Human Serviette from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and lead singer of the rock and roll band The Evaporators, rocking Vancouver since February 20th, 1986, so 20 years in the game! The weird thing is nothing has changed, in the sense that I've always had to do it myself, because our band has never been good enough to play a club, so we've always had to book our own halls, we've always had to beg club owners to play, so nothing has really changed for us, it's always do it yourself. Kids will say, oh yeah, The Evaporators, you were the best band we ever saw in high school. I'm like, what about now? It's like, we've grown up. I'm like, because we've continued to keep on playing to the younger kids, all ages gigs. When we first started out, that's all I would organize, is all ages gigs. In fact, that's all I still only organize, all ages gigs. It's maybe only like one a year, or one every 2 years, but those are the ones I do. So I haven't really been too knowledgeable at the club scene in Vancouver, because I've never really been part of it. I've been to the clubs, and I love going to clubs, and I love rocking out, and I love drinking, and I've even no, I haven't even done that. But it's mainly the all ages DIY scene that I'm really interested in, and those are the things that have always been there, and they're still there, and people can still go out and book a hall.
It's a great rehearsal space because there's so many bands, there's so many good bands in Vancouver. Getting people out to shows is hard. It's really hard. It's a lot easier, not necessarily that it's easier than the rest of Canada, but it seems that most people, because it's pretty barren for the most part of Canada, except for when you get out east. Across the prairies, people come out because there's nothing else to do.
Toronto was really difficult to make friends and form a band. different people have different experiences. Toronto was also big on the top 40 scene, all the rest. When I was 20, I moved over here and went, wow! Because no matter how bad you were, you could play your own music in a venue.
Venues, there's not enough. There's not enough. There's very few venues in Vancouver, and they kind of come and go. There's a couple that have been around for a while. Columbia keeps popping up. It comes up, then it goes away, then it comes back, and then it goes away again, comes back and goes away again. That's been going like that for years.
Like, I love Vancouver music. Like, Vancouver bands from the past, present, and the future can blow away bands in any town, anywhere. I think because it is a bit harder, yes, to book a gig. It's a bit harder to get publicity. So the Vancouver bands really rise to the top. That's why I love Vancouver. Keep on rocking in the free world and doot doodaloo doo.